Brought to you by Slim Jim Emporium. Do you need a quick protein snack or the ability to break into a car? Then try Slim Jim Emporium for all your Slim Jim and Slim Jim needs.
I didn't know this was You Don't Know Jack, by the way. I didn't know we were doing that. Where's my part of the money from this, by the way? We're just doing commercials and I don't know about it. And secondly, this place doesn't even sell Slim Jims.
I said high protein snack or the ability to break into your car.
This is nonsense.
It sells Slim Jims and Slim Jims.
Is it a Slim Jim that does a Slim Jim job or a Slim Jim that does a Slim Jim's job?
No, it's a Slim Jim and a Slim Jim.
I did not authorize this confusing sponsor.
Yeah, you signed off in one of your drunken.
Did I sign off or did I stamp? Did I sign off or did I do the stamp?
You stamped it. You gave it the rubber stamp.
You know that one barely counts, all right?
Listen, I can't help it that when you start drinking your fermented Kool-Aid, that you start stamping things. I just read what I'm handed.
Can you give me a funny fermented Kool-Aid name? I'm working on it over here and I don't have it. Don't say Jungle Juice. We know that's wrong.
No, I was thinking maybe like
Crazy Aid.
What about?
Come on, you're not gonna give me Crazy Aid.
What about a Coolinade?
That's better than Crazy Aid.
Or God, it's so tough.
Dude, come on. It's Kool-Aid. Crazy Aid was really good. You're not giving it to me. It's like Crazy Eights, but with all right.
Dude, but mine was like Chardonnay except Kool-Aid.
Yeah, except not really. Like there's a bunch of words that didn't work out. This is hard. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. If we think about it, we'll figure it out. Guys, I'm your host, half of a host, Tom C.
I'm your other host, D Marks.
Other half of a host.
Other half of a host.
Of the hosting squad.
Different host.
Alpha hosting squad. Bravo, Delta, Charlie, Foxtrot. You know, that's us.
Just say words.
Those are all real words.
Yeah, I wasn't arguing that they weren't. Really.
Guys, welcome to lucky number 74.
Guys, I can't believe it. Think about it. We're almost at 100 episodes. That means we can go into syndication.
Is that true? I thought we got tenure.
We might get both.
Is tenure when you have 10 years somewhere?
Yes, I believe so.
I'm just making that up, guys. Who knew? I'm like a dictionary master. It feels great. It feels great.
Tom, you've often told me that
I wrote the dictionary. I was lying all those times.
Damn it! You said your last name was Webster.
Yeah, I didn't want them to know my real last name though.
That's unfortunate.
But keep buying the dictionaries I'm selling. All right.
Okay.
They're still good, still really good.
Fair enough. But Tom, you said that you're a dictionary master.
Right.
But what else are you a master of? Is there something, not even necessarily a video game, but like a skill that you consider yourself above proficient with?
Well, that's the thing. Let's quick talk about mastery. Because, like, we could say we're experts at a lot, but master is like you have it inside and out, you know? You ever feel like there's not that there's no one better than you at it, but that you know the ultimate amount of knowledge in something? I feel like it goes to video games right away, but I feel like I'm kind of that way with Age of Empires 3. Yeah, I feel like we've really put the time in it to really know everything about the game. It doesn't mean we're the best at it. It doesn't mean we're a champion of it. But I think we know pretty much
There's
everything.
a lot of technical knowledge there.
I think we know.
As opposed to practical knowledge.
I think in the moment we live the Age of Empires 3, and it happens around us, and we're a part of it. Kind of like when you're a master of Aikido, you live Aikido. You know what I'm saying?
Or Tai Chi.
Or Tai Chi, any kind of martial art. You gotta say it art. It's how the Chinese say it.
Well, think about it. You could call it a martial hurt.
No, they don't call it that, though. I don't know where you're getting that.
They could.
They don't, though. Anyway, I'm trying to think of things in real life that I would be a master of. That's harder because there are real things in real life. But is there anything you would think, maybe?
I don't know. Okay, here's what I'm a master of. I'm a master of knowing that I know nothing. Think about that.
That's pretty good. I would say
Socrates.
Okay, hold on. Oh. Hold the horses.
Hold the hemlock. Hold the hemlock.
Here's my question.
Okay.
So, guys, not even video game related. This is a personal question to you. I don't even know the answer. Tell me this: what do you think you're best at? What skill? What thing you do you think you can do, or that you can do the best of all the things you can do? Don't even make a joke here. Don't say I could tie my shoes. I'm number one at that.
I was actually going to say masturbating.
See, that's what
that was going to be my joke.
I was worried we were going to make those jokes with the "What are you a master of?" section, and that's not cool. It's cool, but it's not cool. It's too obvious.
No, you're definitely right.
I'm going to be a master at baiting.
No, I went straight for it.
Yeah, you didn't hold any you didn't. Well, anyway, the thing is, that's fun. Are you really a master of that? Are you really the best at that? Can you come to my house and tell me you're better at that than I am? Maybe the singular master version with involving yourself.
Perhaps, yeah.
Because maybe you do it better than anyone else does.
I'm the best that I've ever seen.
That's pretty high praise, I bet. Coming from a womanizer like yourself.
Let's see. It's in all seriousness.
For real. We're all humble. We're all the best at being humble, but let's be serious. Well, the audience wants to know what we can do.
Okay, here's the deal, Tom. There are things that I consider myself better at than like my friends.
Yes,
but I don't think that I would consider myself like a master of them.
That's fine, but that's fine. A master in a real life thing is hard because you can still enjoy a hobby.
I gotta allocate my skill points.
But to be a master of if you're into archery, to be a master archer is something else. You know. But I could still be better at my friends at archery. You know. Yeah, not that I am. I got some master archers on my friends list.
Yeah, dude, you're a good friend.
Think of one.
Robin Hood.
Nice.
Nailed it.
Good. Quick on our feet.
Pull
the
that
one
out.
guy who's an archer that we could think of.
Well, there was that
William Tell.
Nice. That's good. That girl from Hunger Games.
Katniss.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all great.
Nailed it. All good friends of ours.
No, but anyway, the audience doesn't know us that good. There are things outside of video games, but including video games, that we're better at anyone we know at.
Yeah,
that we're the best at.
That's true.
It's just a discussion to think about. Honestly, I think we're the best at doing a podcast because they don't have 100 million downloads a month.
That's true,
and they don't even have a show. So screw them.
Oh, I mean, I consider us. We're probably the funnier people that.
See, I hate to say that, but yeah, it's probably true.
Yeah, because I think
we're more inclined that way.
Well, the thing is that so many times I'll walk up to a girl and that she'll see me for the first time.
She'll burst out laughing.
She'll scream.
Oh, sorry.
She'll scream, but then she'll tell me how funny I am. Mm-hmm. In you know that nervous, meaningful way that you hear girls talking a lot.
The kind where they're like, "You're so funny."
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the most serious I've ever heard a lady. And I'm actually kind of jealous.
Yeah,
I'm really good at being jealous.
They say it like that all the time, and
they kind of do that back away thing that shows they're really interested.
Yeah,
I'm really good.
It looks like they're dialing their phone.
Honestly, I'm really good at body language.
I think they're trying to give me their number.
Yeah,
they have to remember what it is.
They're trying to Wi-Fi it to you. I'm also really good at technical terms.
Yeah, very good. But now let's see,
because you're probably one of the better cooks, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely. There are a few people who are actually going to culinary school and stuff. Where
you can blow them out of the water, those suckers.
That wasn't what I was going to say.
Oh,
I was going to say that they're probably better than I am, but yeah. I mean, as far as just day-to-day cooking stuff, obviously I'm probably better than a lot of people because I was planning on going into the culinary field.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say, here's what I'm thinking because I'm trying to think here. I'm going to say I'm really good. I don't know if I'm the best at it, but at thinking on my toes. At quickly coming to things.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people struggle at when people come at them, they can't really think of something fast. I think I'm pretty good at that, and I think it's a hard talent to have.
Yeah, I think we both have a talent in that. I think you're probably better at it than I am.
I think it's from listening to a lot of radio.
Probably, well, yeah.
Honestly, I really think
especially when it comes to comedy. I think you and I are both very good at that.
I'm not going to say that we're expert comedians or anything, but thinking on your toes at having the right timing there can really make the difference.
Yeah, dude.
It's keeping the volleyball up there.
Now, because the key is yes and.
Yes.
Or a new one. This is one that I made up, but I like it a lot.
Yes,
no
ma'am.
but.
Oh, no but?
No but.
Heard that before.
Yeah, dude. You probably heard it from me.
Well, we used to say that about skinny girls. You know, and it was. Oh no, no, but that's
Calf down.
I don't know. It's just something I've been thinking about lately.
I mean, because the thing is, all the things that I know front and back are totally useless.
That's not important, dude. Here's the thing.
I know. I know that. I know that's not really what the topic of discussion is. But like,
it's cool if they're useless. That's
dude, ask me anything about New Vegas, and I got you covered.
You could be. That's actually what I kind of was thinking about it. Because guys, we recently started New Vegas again, and I would consider myself a master of that game because there's very little we don't know about it. We probably know more than most expert players. We know like we in the moment I know how many hits I can take before I'm gonna die just from what enemy's attacking me and what my situation is. Like I can just stand there and get punched and I'll be like, all right, I got it.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm good at like finding all like being like, oh, there's a secret thing down here, and you got to type into this computer and blah 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 blah, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that you can be a master of because I always mention him, but Epic Name Bro, he doesn't consider himself a master of Dark Souls or anything, but like he could really tell you everything about Dark Souls, and he plays it very, very well. And that's kind of how I feel we are about New Vegas, where we have this expert-level knowledge that is kind of basically a mastery of it. Because we can do anything we want in that game and get away with it.
Yeah.
Like, for real. It's kind of a stupid thing to say, but it's not like... It's definitely not a useful skill.
No,
but it's neat to be good, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
trying to think of more real-life examples, but that's... If I were to go to a video game that I was a master of, that would be one of them. Because I don't know a single person at that game who is better than us.
No, definitely not.
Or who knows more than us. I don't even know, like, YouTubers or anything.
I don't think there's anyone who's played that game as much as we have.
Seriously. I'm sure there's a lot of dudes on, like, No Mutants Allowed or whatever, but they don't count because they don't have a radio show.
Yeah, exactly. They can't defend themselves, so they're obviously wrong.
Yeah, sorry. That's how this medium works. Because you can't hop into our screen and do it right here, right as we're talking. You don't have an argument. Because we're not going to air your argument next week.
Oh, what? We're getting a call. Wait, no, we aren't. You can't call in on this show.
Sorry. We don't even know how to do that. Somebody wanted to call in and we said no. And they were really famous, too.
We turned them down.
They were so famous. You guys would have been impressed.
Turned them down.
It rhymed with Borge Glugly.
I'm not sure anything rhymes with that.
It was George Clooney. Sorry.
But his name's not Glugly.
I can't... If I did end there, you'd know who it was. Because I started with glue.
Well, that's your own fault. Apparently, you're not a master of coming up with fake names for famous celebrities who constantly want to call into the show.
What about that other one who did it? You know, Fad Brit? Does that one work?
That was bad.
God, see, this is... well, are you better at it than I am? Because I'm not.
Okay, here we go.
It's not so easy.
Here we go. Chad Ritt.
Who's that?
See, you don't even know.
That's pretty good.
Right?
We're really keeping it in the shadows. Does he really want to come on the show?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, great. Let's have him on.
Oh,
wait, no, we can't do the call-in thing. God. I'm not a master of that. Okay, real life. What are you great at? I would say I'm great at driving. I would say I'm a superior driver. I'm not a master driver.
I'm really good at parallel parking.
Dude, there you go. There you go. Dude, this is important things for people to know. Why are you so good at parallel parking?
Because it's just my dad taught me, and he put me through the paces, the parallel parking paces.
Is he a master parallel parker?
He put me...
Is he the Peter Parker of parking?
I don't think you can say that.
Why not?
Because it's offensive.
Sorry. Anyway.
Spider-Man fans are rolling in their graves.
No, it's important, I think, to know what it is you're good at and what it is you're not so good at. And it's just something I've been thinking about lately.
Do you think that has any bearings about, like... Do you think, especially like in a game like the example that comes to mind for me is like Dark Souls. Mm-hmm. Do you think that kind of informs? Do you think it stops you from taking chances? When you play Dark Souls or Demon Souls, there's generally one style of play that you go to, and it rhymes with boo-handed.
Yeah.
You never tried magic. You never do like. You don't really do like shield stuff all that much. Uh-huh. You really just mostly do two-handed weapons, and you get really good at using them because you know like timing and parrying and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But do you think that level of comfortability and masterness does that affect your play styles at all?
Well, I think you can be good at something, but also have a style at something. It's more true of video games. Like we are maybe masters of New Vegas, but we're definitely not masters of energy weapons in New Vegas. But that doesn't just because you enjoy it doesn't mean you necessarily wouldn't do something else. Do you know what I mean? Am I answering this right?
No, I see what you're saying.
I just, you can still be drawn to a certain style of play despite being really good at something and knowing the perks of other things. Because, like, in Dark Souls, I know magic is clearly really good. But I just never want to do it because it's not how I prefer to play.
Right.
And that's all there is to it. It's not a mean thing.
It's not mean.
I just wish so bad that Dark Souls 2 is out. Guys, that's all I think about these days. Because we're in the video game dearth right now. There's not a game coming out until next Tuesday, which is Battlefield 4.
Yeah, I was about to say.
That one's coming out soon.
We're starting to get into it again. It's getting dangerously close to the holiday season.
And then what?
The holiday season.
We're going to run right out and get our PS4s.
Dude, who knows?
Nodding my head this way.
Some people call that shaking.
No, I call this shaking. That's a visual joke for you guys at home. But yeah, like we said, like, oh, the Wii U looks rad too, and then we never even pretended to get that.
But the Wii U looked more rad than the PS4.
It's true. I still want a Wii U
because it has that cool peripheral deal.
Yeah, I still want it a lot, but I'm still waiting for Smash Bros. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it.
Tut. Yeah, I don't know. I have so little time for video games nowadays, you know?
Jeez, tell us how busy you are.
No, that's not what I was trying to say.
Humble brag, right? Right, guys? This guy over here.
Dude, I'm the master of the humble brag.
Dude, you're so good at it, you don't even have to say it right anymore.
Well, I don't want people to think that I'm so good at talking, so I have to, so I
honestly,
I Amish quilt my words.
I don't even know what that's supposed to mean.
Because Amish women, they make flaws in
their
quilts.
Dude, we're kind of masters of like obscure things like that and throwing it in. I don't know. It's just a weird.
But okay. Well, here's another point.
We're really good at that.
No, here's the point. Here's the point to that. That actually makes our conversations more cumbersome because
it's
people
true.
don't know what we're talking about all the time.
Even I don't sometimes.
Because those West Coasters, they've never even heard of Amish people before.
Yeah, over there in the West, all they do is surf, dude.
Yeah, dude.
They surf and eat oranges, the West kind.
Well, they go to In-N-Out Burger to get their fruit smoothies.
They go to fruit smoothies. Why would you get that at a burger place?
Because fruit smoothies are trendy.
Sorry, you're right. Sorry. They do yogas.
They drive up the 101.
Right? I don't know where that is.
That's just a highway.
Dude, what are you really bad at? Because I'll tell you right now, I don't know any street names. I don't know a single street name.
I'm bad at meeting new people.
You think so?
I'm not very good at it.
Do you think you close the door?
I wouldn't say I close the door, but I definitely shut my curtains.
Mm-hmm. When God closes a curtain, he opens the drapes, too. God's curtains match the drapes, I bet. Is that an expression? Did I mean to say something else?
No, I think you got it.
Okay, good. I was worried about that. Yeah. I'm really good at expressions.
No, the
I'm
key
good
is
at expressing myself.
It's not. It's not just expressions, but it's the proper use of expressions.
Mm-hmm. Remember that dude from Boondock Saints who used to use two different expressions all the time?
Oh yeah,
dude. Yeah, that guy was great. Anyway. I don't know. It's just something to think about, guys. I want you guys at home to think about things that you're really good at. What are you better at than your bros?
Because you're good at something.
I mean, you might just think about it, and then you're gonna be like, "Oh, my friends are wankers. I hate my friends, and I'm better at everything than them."
I can't believe I was ever friends with these people because they're clearly less talented than I am.
They got zero talent. They're on the floor of the gutter. That's how bad they are. They're just crap. And then you'll email us, the Sons of It, and you'll say, I want to be your friend instead. And we'll say no, because it's not going to work. It's a long-distance relationship.
I already have a friend. Why on earth would I need two?
Guys.
Also master of references.
Guys, we all know D. Marks is one of my favorite people. There, I said it.
Darn it.
And no one can replace him.
I was hoping I was the favorite.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I meant you're the one guy. The only guy I know, period.
Guys,
because the bunker gets lonely. The bunker we're living in.
The Sun's bunker. Guys, we're going to see you next break.
Guys, this is Ario Speedwagon chat. Who's your favorite member of Ario Speedwagon?
Probably Ario.
I always liked Wagon. He was the bassist.
I feel like Speed gets left out a lot.
Yeah, because he blows, man. He's like one of the dudes from Kiss who isn't Gene Simmons or whatever, Peter Frampton.
Dude, I can... Yeah, Peter Frampton. Dude, I can name the whole original.
Do you party all night? That's what it was like.
Detroit Rock City.
Yeah. Remember when he did that famous Kiss Alive? Kiss Comes Alive tour?
Kiss Comes Alive, yeah. Everybody had that album.
Is there anyone you know who didn't have that album?
Guys, how are you doing?
Welcome to the show. Did we introduce ourselves?
Yes, we did.
I'm D. Marks.
Good. I'm Tom C. Okay.
You wish. How dare you?
Ouch. All right, here's the deal, Tom.
Yeah.
Recently, I started to replay a game that some of you might have heard of. I'm not sure if you did, because I don't think you beat it twice and we did it as a Let's Play. But it's called BioShock Infinite.
I actually beat it 3 times.
Huh.
Remember, I beat it once on normal, then once on 1999.
Yeah.
And then I beat it again on 1999 for the show.
That's what I said. You did it on the Let's Play, and then you beat it twice.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what you said, but yeah.
I think I said something very similar to that. Or else...
I actually had a long discussion with someone about this game last night.
Really?
Yep. They were like, how much longer do I have left? And I'm like, you're maybe 20, you're like 70% through. And they're like, I don't want it to ever end. And I'm like, okay. Sorry, dude. These games aren't particularly long.
I think Infinite was longer than the first one.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that
Anyway,
either.
so why are you replaying? Because you're so excited for Burial at Sea?
Well, no, not really. Actually,
What? This goes against everything I was led to believe.
Well, if you want to know the God's honest, it's because we were playing that Civil War mod.
Uh-huh.
And it
Good call.
Really
I
got
understand.
It really got me America'd.
Yeah, it's pretty much the most American thing ever.
So I was like, you know what? We'll toss her in the old PS3, take a trip down memory Columbia Lane. Da-da-da-da. And here's the thing, Tom. Game's good. I like Infinite. You guys know that. But here's the thing. Some of the graphics aren't very good.
Really?
Like, straight up not good.
When?
Okay, here's where you mostly see it. A lot of the scenery textures are very, very bad.
It might just be a PS3 thing. Sorry, I'm an elitist. What?
I don't think it is. I've seen a lot of screenshots. This has been a very common complaint, and I've heard this from PC people too. About like you'll see pictures of like flowers and flower beds, like in Colombia, and they'll be like look like they're just pasted on, like there's no texture to them at all, or like hummingbirds that are like really pixely, like in your vision.
Yeah.
So it's a thing that a lot of people detract from the game, aside from their concerns about the story and plot holes and everything, all that junk.
And how they're hipster garbage.
Yeah, and how they hate fun and things that are
they're allergic to good times.
Things that take chances.
They're generally disliked by their compatriots.
Exactly. But the thing is, Tom, here's the question: can a game be good, especially today? Can a AAA release, be good without having good graphics?
Yup. Wait, what AAA games do you know that don't have good graphics?
I'm saying if they release a AAA, say Ground Zeroes come out and the graphics aren't as good as everyone wants it to be. They're like
they look like a PS1.
We'll give it the benefit of the doubt. They look like Snake Eater graphics.
All right.
So you play. So
that'd be pretty poor compared to 4.
It'd be pretty poor compared to 4. But would it affect how you felt about the game? Could you be like, oh, well, I don't really care about the graphics because the story's so good. The gameplay's so fun.
I think we both know the answer is probably yeah. I do really enjoy a graphically pleasing game, but there's been very few times where I've been turned off by that. Just because, like,
See, the thing is, though, I think sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, even though I totally did. The thing is, I think we're in the minority there.
I don't think we are. I think that most people who are not casual gamers don't care about this. I feel like for some reason game publishers have more interest in the graphics department than a lot of consumers do. I feel like if graphics were at last gen for the entirety of life, nobody would have cared, but it's whatever. People just like seeing pretty things. I wonder how many people are really like, I bought this game because it's pretty.
Dude,
there are a few games like that, like Uncharted. A lot of people are like, "Look at the graphics."
And in games like Crysis and stuff, they're like sold on their like graphics and things like that. They're sold on all the scenery and the realistic blood splatters. Splatters.
Yeah, people still love looking at Crysis and telling it's great.
Yeah, exactly.
That game kind of blows, though. That's the problem with that. It's not a fun game. So the graphics didn't make up for its crappiness, as far as I'm concerned.
I was gonna say I thought
Unless
it was.
you're addicted to generic shooters.
I thought that game was just Far Cry, and then I realized Far Cry's not that great.
Far Cry isn't that great, but also it's worse than Far Cry.
Okay,
It's
they're the same people, right?
yeah, it's the same engine.
Yeah,
Crysis engine. That's right. No, the Cry engine.
yeah.
I had to clap there for reasons.
No, you did it. You had to turn on the light.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we used the one clapper.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, everyone enjoys the games looking pretty, but really, we've played Monaco this year, and that looks like a pile of crap.
Well, yeah, but that's because that's okay. Well,
Don't say retro style without the hand quotes.
The smiley faces. Here's the thing about that, though. Also, I'm tired of retro. I'm done.
Yeah, no, retro is pure garbage.
Because, guys, here's the thing. Tom and I were talking about this off
We hate old people.
off air.
We're sick of them.
Yeah, we don't
Why
like
don't
them.
they just die? Baby boomers, more like nothing. Just kill yourselves.
That's not what
Sorry,
I.
Grandpa.
That's not what I said.
Oh, we were in a pretty much agreement before the
No.
show.
I don't remember that part.
You also said babies suck and minorities suck. I thought that's why we started this show.
Well, I like minor babies.
All babies are minors.
I meant minority babies.
That's racist.
Great. No, what we were talking about was like how, and you brought up this point, and I really liked it. We were watching a certain Let's Play channel, the only other one that we watch. We're watching
Total Biscuit.
What? Is
I
that
don't
a
know.
real
Do they
one?
do Let's Plays?
Is that a real one?
It's a channel, a gaming channel.
Great.
Pretty popular guy.
Yes.
It's actually one of the most popular ones.
So we were watching them play a game for Steam, and it was like an 8-bit retro deal. It was a jumping puzzle, fun, super hard thing. But the thing is, and Tom said it, back at least in the days where you were only working with 8 and 16 bits, they at least tried to make games look good.
Mm-hmm.
You were supposed they were never just okay. They sometimes were like, oh, it's just a stick figure and you're moving around. But if you look at the first Mario game or the first Donkey Kong, it looks like Mario. It looks like a monkey. It's not like stick figures jumping over round circle barrels.
I mean, Pitfall looked like garbage. Remember that? Like really early NES games.
That was early.
I'm talking real early. But they always try to make things look like stuff, which is why this is going to make our previous thing we just talked about seem a little hypocritical, because obviously we're saying that these retro games that purposely don't try to look good are bad because of that. But I think that's not exactly what we're saying here, guys. But
No,
because what the point is not that they are bad games because they look poor, is that they are imitating something incorrectly. They're trying to be this retro style while actually recreating it in a worse way. You know what I mean? Because back then you had Mario. Mario 3 is a good-looking game. It looks like it could have been on SNES. And it's good that it looks that way, but it's also a fun game. But people go back and I want to make an NES kind of game. That's why my stick figure's doing a dance where he does 2 frames. No, that's not what happened in NES era.
Well, and especially the game that we were watching.
It's called VVVVVVVVVVV, which looks awful, and I'm not going to play it.
No, the thing about it is that, to me, that game looks lazy, and I'll tell you why. And if you made VVVVVVVV, you're probably a piece of indie garbage, and I probably wouldn't like you in real
Whoa,
life.
come on the show. We mean you're great.
No,
He's probably way richer than us.
I'm just
It's the
joking.
sad part.
But the point is, it
Makes more money than us? Worthington's Law, dude. You know how it works.
Yeah, dude. The Costington's Law. The thing is, it just seems like a lazy game. Because, guys, in case you don't know, the point of VVVVVVV is it's jumping puzzles, and you have to avoid spikes and lasers and all this stuff. And
It's not jumping puzzle. It's reverse gravity puzzles.
Yeah, there you go.
You can't jump. The only thing you can do is turn gravity on or off.
I thought you could jump.
No. The way you jump is by going up with the gravity and then going down.
Yeah. So it's all about falling the right way and using the gravity mechanics to get from one side of a room and go through all of the parts of the spaceship, I think.
Yeah.
And that's not really a complicated gameplay thing. So if you look at it from the perspective of and reverse gravity puzzle games aren't retro. Those are fairly new.
Yeah, I mean, maybe something like that existed, but it wasn't prevalent.
Yeah, I've played a few of those games in the past, just like Flash games and stuff. And, to me, it just seems lazy. Because not only did they take a simple concept, but they took the laziest way of going about designing it. And just, being we're not even going to make good-looking sprites. We're not going to make good-looking figures. We're not going to make good-looking backgrounds. We're just going to have it all be pixels, stick figures, and not even do 16 bits, just do 8 bits.
Like, I can try and commend them for just focusing that much on gameplay, but I don't think that was their point.
And that's the pitfall there, because there's not much to the gameplay.
Guys, you see how I subtly made him use the word pitfall later?
Yeah,
I'm a mind freak, dude. I'm like Chris Angle.
Dude, that's why I don't sleep on planes. I don't want to get incepted.
No, but really, it's
like you do. Like, I'm not just talking out of my ass here. Like you.
I don't know. You're a great ventriloquist.
Yeah. Do they normally talk out of their asses?
If you're really good, you do.
What about a ventriloquist?
Work on that.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's lazy. I just don't.
Do you see how, to me, it could come across as lazy, though? Taking a very simple gameplay mechanic and applying the simplest design and elements to it, and then laughing all the way to the bank when it gets hailed. I mean,
what they had is a concept, and they wanted to completely they wanted to make the most of that in concept and like do everything they could with it. And I understand that. And I understand the graphics thing, but maybe the puzzles seem more frustrating than actually creative, but maybe I don't know if the graphics are lazy. I don't know if the style is lazy, but I do know that it's trying to emulate something that is not how it was. Like it's like, imagine if I was like, I'm going to emulate old cars. They only had 2 wheels and they fell over all the time. Couldn't drive those cars.
It was hard. They were hard.
Back in the 70s, there were these cars. They only had 1 wheel, and they used to spin it, and then they just sat there and they floated on the rivers.
It was all on the driver's fault. The car didn't do any work.
They looked like a car. They kind of looked like a car, but like a bad car that didn't really work. Like, that's not, because we all know what cars look like. We're all alive in the NES era, and we knew what NES games were and how they were good, and they were like good looking, and how there was effort and like flow to this stuff, and not just frustrating nonsense.
Yeah.
If you go back and you play Super Mario 1, you're going to see that game was expertly crafted to be a certain way. It was not crafted to be frustrating.
No,
there was a gradual increase in difficulty that was properly timed and created by someone who really thought about it, that it was made to not be just a frustrating difficulty thing.
Because here's the ultimate secret, guys. You weren't good at games as a kid. That's why it was hard. It wasn't hard because they designed it to be hard. It was hard because you weren't good.
Like, if you go back and play Mario, you're going to be able to beat it today. Like,
yeah,
if you could never get past stage 6, you'll be able to do it today.
Because you're going to notice something.
Because you're a grown man
that you didn't notice before. You know, you're going to figure out that there's a mushroom hiding where you didn't think there was. You're just going to be able to say, "Okay, I got it. Let's go."
There is no game, and I will say this. There is no retro-style game that plays as good as a Super Mario Brothers, or like a Mario 2 or Mario 3.
Yeah.
They just don't exist because they're not making them that way. They're making them in a way that is falsely emulating something, and that bothers me.
But Tom C., what about games like Castlevania and Ninja Gaiden? Those were really hard.
Those were really hard, but those were also expertly crafted to be a certain way. They were... Some people would be like, well, it was the arcade era and people just wanted coins. That's not true, obviously, of NES games. Because
it wasn't true of Castlevania because that's not an arcade game.
Yeah. They were made to be a certain way, and they were made to be difficult, but they were expertly crafted to be played a certain way that required you to get good at that game.
Yeah, because the thing is...
It's similar to how Dark Souls works now, guys.
When we were watching how they played the VV game... There were so many times where whoever was playing would just die, not through anything that they did, and not through any mistakes that they made, but it was just because of, like, you know, the level decided to pull something, or, you know, they just didn't time a jump right, and it's something that took a billion times to do just because that it just had to be that precise.
It's a game where your skills don't improve, you just get it right once.
Yeah, that's all you have to do.
Which is not really... Like
Whereas in like Castlevania, the enemy placement, the bosses, all that stuff, they're designed around the player having to be smarter than the level.
They have to get a skill level.
Yeah, which is not the case in a game like that.
I would like to see a person who considers himself a master of a game like VVVVVVV, and I want to see how well they play it, and if they play it much better than a entry level player. Because there's certain puzzles they'll get through really fast, but there's some of the later puzzles I can't imagine they do that much more effectively than a beginning player, because they just...
there are some people who just have the timing for everything down right, so they're just like, all right, and all right, game's done.
Yeah, but that's still something you'd have to, like, it's something that you'd either have or you don't. It's not even like Because it's not really a practicing thing there. You're just either able to do that kind of thing or you're not. You know what I mean?
That's true.
No one's sitting there going through that game 100 times trying to get through it. Like, I wonder about games like that and, like, Super Meat Boy. 'Cause Super Meat Boy is a good game. I feel like there's a little more flow there, but it's still a lot of stuff that you only need to get through once.
Yeah, because I don't think any gamer wants to be frustrated, even if they're like, "Oh, I like the really hard games." It's got to get to a point.
No, there's games that are really hard, like a Dark Souls, that aren't that hard once you play them enough. But games like that VVV or like I Want to Be the Guy, they will always be hard. You know what I mean? Because they just don't get easier.
Yeah, dude. But you know it does get easier. Well,
life in general, if you save money and you just try and be a good person.
Well, easier was wrong. You know it is easy. Question mark. Mark? That hurts my feelings.
What? It's good.
You know how I don't like being called any kind of difficulty.
Sorry. You're just a hard person to get to know.
Damn it. No, you know it's easy. Emailing us.
Do it, guys.
So easy to do.
Send us your favorite email address.
We'll rate it for you. We're
tell
like
you
the name rater from Pokemon.
Yeah.
If you have an especially good name, we'll give you an HM.
Yeah. Is that how that worked? It's not how it worked. That's not how it worked.
No, it was different.
Well, we're not going to do that, but we will love your emails. We'll love if you rate us on iTunes. If you want to.
It'd be really great if you did. Sometimes
we all have to do things we don't want to, guys. Like right now, we don't want to kill you with these wonderful speed reviews.
Speed reviews.
You were way off on that one.
I thought you were going to talk about YouTube videos.
Sorry. Speed reviews.
Speed reviews. Guys, this is the top 10 games that were restricted or banned in different countries.
Awesome.
Number 10, Football Manager 2005 was banned in China for recognizing country's independence.
That seems like a really awkward name for a game. Football Manager 2005 was banned in China for recognizing country's independence is not a good name. Like, that's like 5 lines. It gets a 1 out of 10. Okay, number 9. Homefront was banned in South Korea for involving the North Koreans.
This also just seems a little cumbersome. I've heard of Homefront. Is this... Maybe this was a sequel, or maybe it was the prequel. I honestly don't know. 1 out of 10. Number 8, EA Sports MMA was banned in Denmark for promoting energy drinks.
Well, I like Denmark, and I like EA Sports because EA is our overlords, and they give us all the money. So 10 out of 10. Command & Conquer Generals was banned in China for destroying the country's infrastructure.
I don't think that Command & Conquer Generals did anything Mao Zedong didn't already get to. 10 out of 10. Number 6, Mass Effect was shortly banned in Singapore for cross-species and same-sex relationships.
Singapore is a great country, and did you know that 1 out of 6 citizens is a millionaire? It's true. It gets 10 out of 10. Pokemon was banned in Saudi Arabia for promoting gambling and having religious symbolism.
Well, I can't say anything there. I probably would get letters. Gets a 10 out of 10. Number 4, Postal 2 was banned in New Zealand for extreme violence and a gross scene.
I would say anyone who buys Postal 2 probably is pretty gross in general, so I guess they were talking about the people buying it. So it gets a 0 out of 10. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas became restricted in America for the hot coffee minigame.
I remember that minigame. It wasn't that bad. It was just like Tapster's Tavern. You have to get your coffee to all the customers before they left the restaurant. I don't see what the problem is, but I guess some people don't like coffee, I guess. 1 out of 10. Number 2, Manhunt series was restricted and banned in multiple countries for over-the-top violence.
I was banned somewhere for being over the top, hilarious, and it was in my dreams. 0 out of 10. Venezuela banned video games, violent video games altogether. That's not a game.
Violent video games. Venezuela, 10 out of 10.
We did it. That was close.
Guys, we'll see you next week.